broskies, it's Sona. Today I'm gonna be showing you Sona's art tips. I get a lot of comments asking me how to draw, so these are a few art things I've learned to use in my own art throughout the years, and yeah. If you don't like any of this, that's fine. It's just what I use personally. I'm not telling you what to do. Please do not burn me in the comments. Tip 1, use shapes. Okay, so this is the first and most important thing in my opinion. Using shapes to structure my character is essential. Okay, 3D shapes as well. There's a lot of ways to go about it. I use oval for torso, circle for waist, and circle for head. Some people use rectangles and stuff, also because they're 3D. Then for the limbs, I like to use 3D cylinders. It's super helpful for different angles. If the arm is going more towards the camera, then there would be a visible circle at the bottom of the cylinder, and the back would be curved like this. Meanwhile, if it's going away from the camera, the circle would be hidden at the bottom, creating a round curve, and instead the circle at the top would be visible. I hope that makes sense. An even better way to do this is to add lines to your cylinder. As you can see on the chart, the lines are curved depending on which way the cylinder is pointing. This makes it much easier to know which way the limbs are facing. This method really helps a lot, so I highly recommend using shapes. I'm not a pro at explaining this stuff, so if you want more detailed explanations, then check out the videos below. Tip 2, tracing. Voice crack. Tracing. Okay, time for me to get canceled. Controversial opinion here. No, I'm not saying trace someone's art and post it and claim it as your own. No. In other ways, tracing is extremely beneficial actually to learning how to draw dynamic poses and can be great practice. Okay, you might be confused. Let me show you. So when tracing, I grab the pose I want, usually from Pinterest, lower the opacity, and I always use shapes when tracing over poses. Over the original pose, I draw over the body with the shapes method, so circles and cylinders, etc. After I'm done, I add a new layer and then draw next to what I just traced. I basically use the trace drawing as a reference, but this way I'm able to see the actual structure of the pose in its raw form. I find it much easier to understand and study the pose this way. I also make it a point to practice this every other day for my art studies, and it's really helped me improve. I really recommend doing this frequently. You'll for sure see improvements in your posing. Tip 3, add shape to your line art. To be honest, this is something I wish I learned early on because this method just makes my art look so much cooler. As you can see, I have a cute anime girl right here. She looks pretty cool, but I know I can make this line art look even better. What I like to do is just zoom in a little bit and in the corners and crevices of my line art, add some thickness, just a few strokes at a time. At first it may not look super noticeable, but once you do this to all of the corners and stuff, you can compare both of them and look at that. Adding shape to your line art I find is especially beneficial to those with thinner line art, and I'd say I'm in between, so yeah. But yeah, as you can see, it just looks so pretty and cool and gives it way more life and just a lot more personality to your liner, if that makes any sense. It's a game changer, okay? Do it now! Tip 4, using minimal colors. This one can really depend on what you're going for, but in general, I find using fewer colors is better than using too many colors. For example, here's a character, and as you can see, there is a lot going on. Okay, some may think these colors don't look too bad, but it's a little overwhelming to look at if you ask me. Right here is the color palette, which is a buttload of colors. This isn't always bad, and I guess it's fine if you're doing a one-time illustration, but if this is a character you want to draw consistently, it's going to be really hard to remember all these colors, and it's also going to be harder to recognize your character. I find the most recognizable characters to have fewer colors in their design. On the right is the same character, but their color palette has been shrunken down a lot to just 5 colors. Immediately, I think this character is much nicer to look at, as well as more recognizable, and obviously, you'll have a much better time remembering this color palette. Using fewer colors is also great if you're trying to stick to a certain theme for your character. Like I said though, it can still depend because some people like making super colorful drawings and they want that crazy pop to their art, which I love as well. So it really depends on the style that you're going for. But yeah, tip 5, color line art. Okay, I will always say this. Coloring line art, I find gives so much more life to my art, and the difference it makes is crazy. This is a character I drew for one of my videos, and she's super cute. She's a honey bear. However, this is her without the colored line art, as you can see. She's still cute, of course, but this is her with colored line art. Look at the difference. Amazing, chef's kiss, cured all diseases, okay? What I usually do is pick a color that's kind of darker than the color inside the line art, and then I lock the line art layer so that I'm only coloring that specific layer. Another thing I love doing personally is adding random colorful lines on top that are much different than the source colors, usually really bright reds, blues, and pinks. This is just a stylistic thing, of course, but it gives a really nice glow. Fun fact, a while back, I actually stopped putting these random colorful lines because for a while I did get some some rude comments of people telling me that it looked bad and it looked like a unicorn barfed rainbow everywhere. But a lot of you guys started telling me you missed it and it looked super nice, so thank you. Extra pro tip from Sona. If it makes you happy, do what you want with your art. You don't gotta please everyone, it's your art, okay? Do what you want. That also applies to this video. You don't gotta follow everything I say, obviously. Sometimes I also like to add an airbrush fade on the lighter as well, like making the top brighter and then the bottom darker, and using all sorts of different colors. It just looks really cool. Tip 6, take inspiration. This is very important and can really have a lot of impact on your art in a super positive way. Taking inspiration from other artists that you look up to will not only inspire you to draw more, but help you learn a lot. There's so many different artists out there that teach us different things. Some draw calm, soothing pieces, others draw crazy, wacky, and expressive art. What I'm saying is taking inspiration can really broaden your horizon and ideas for your own art. I mainly got into art once I started reading manga, which gave me huge inspiration to write my own story and make my own graphic novel one day, and it really drives my passion to keep improving as an artist. Taking inspiration can also help you find your art style. I know there's a lot of young artists that struggle with this. My style used to be kind of wonky and yeah, I wasn't very happy with it, but over time I've taken a lot of inspiration from my favorite artists and it's really helped me develop my own art style. For example, I started off just drawing anime, but I've also come across many simple cartoony artists which I love, so now my art is a mixture of both cartoon and anime, and it's just right for me. Even just looking at other artists' work every day can drive your passion for art even more, so I really recommend just finding some artists' work you really love and taking inspiration from them. Tip 7, don't compare your art to others. This one is a bit related to the last one. It's more of a mental thing. I know there's many young artists out there that can look at another artist's work and feel bad about their own art because they think their art is bad compared to other artists. Unfortunately, this is extremely common and even happened to me when I was younger. I was a beginner and I saw other artists who could draw really well and I couldn't, which led to me self-deprecating about my art a lot and hating it at times even. So trust me, I do understand this feeling. However, this mindset is only going to hold you back as an artist and can really kill your motivation to draw and even make your art worse. Comparing yourself to others with this negative mindset isn't constructive at all and isn't fair to you. The artists you look at weren't always amazing. They started off the same way you did. Their art used to be doo-doo, but they put years into their craft to get where they are and make the amazing art that you see today. So don't beat yourself up if you think you aren't as good as them. That's okay. Out of many things, art is one of the most time-consuming skills to get really good at. It's gonna take you a lot of practice and studying to get where you want to be. I'm 21 years old, and believe it or not, there's so much more I need to learn about art. Yeah, sure, there's a ton of artists who are more skilled than me, and that's okay, because that's not what matters. What you need to do to get where you want to be is focus on yourself, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what others are doing. What matters is what you're doing, because it's your path. If you put in the work, time, and effort, and are truly serious about becoming an amazing artist, you will get there. Having a negative mindset and hating on your own art all the time will never really help you improve as an artist. People's love and passion for their art shows in their work, so if you hate your own art, it will show and it will negatively affect your art as well. So please don't be hard on yourself, just focus on what you need to do to get where you want to be and have fun with your art. After all, we draw because we are passionate and have fun with our art, so let's do our best. Art tip 8, use Pinterest. Not sponsored. Okay, I know this one is very specific, but trust me, when you're looking for poses or just art ideas in general, use Pinterest. Some people say just use Google, and I used to do that for a while. I don't know what it is, but when I started using Pinterest instead of Google for references, I got way better results than what Google gives me. Probably because Pinterest is just more artsy, obviously. But there's such a wide variety of stuff you can find on Pinterest, and it's really great for finding very specific poses and all that great stuff. I use it for all my study practice, so yeah, use Pinterest. Hey broskies, thanks so much for watching. This was some art tips for art thingies that I use for myself. I hope you found some useful stuff in this video. As I said, you don't gotta follow everything I say, obviously. I'm just giving these tips from my own experience. Okay, bye!